Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Madam Hayati. We are from Group 2, from the group S27. We'll be presenting our study on the effect of unemployment on poverty in Malaysia in 2015. This study is performed by me, Amir Razid, and my group members, which are Ainun Najwa, Aisyah Soleha, and Aisyah Alia. Assalamualaikum, my name is Amir Razid, and now I will talk about the introduction to our study. Poverty is a state or condition in which a person or community lacks the financial resources and essentials for a minimum standard of living. Each nation may have its own threshold that determines how many of its people are living in poverty. Unemployment is one of the major factors of poverty. Unemployment is a key economic indicator because it signals the ability or the inability of workers to readily obtain gainful work to contribute to the productive output of the economy. Based on the Malaysian unemployment rate, in, from 1991 to 2020, the Malaysian unemployment rate for 2014 is 2.88%, which increased to 3.10% in 2015. This shows a significant increment for the unemployment rate in Malaysia. This study is then performed to identify the effect of unemployment on poverty in Malaysia in 2015.
The next is background study. This study has determined that the respondents were selected by all Malaysian peoples. As much as 450,000 people were selected who variety of their age between 15 years old until 64 years old for all states in Malaysia are chosen to participate in this survey. In this case, there is strong evidence that the unemployment increased the risk of poverty in Malaysia and contribute to inequality, giving rise to several weakening social consequences for the unemployment, their family, and also their community in which they live. For the first, our objective is to describe the demographic profile on unemployment people in Malaysia. Our second objective is to analyze a central tendency of the age unemployment in Malaysia in 2015. We measure and we calculate the mean, median, and also the mode. And the last, for our objective, to analyze the measure of distribution of the age of unemployment in Malaysia in 2015. So in this objective, we detect that our skew distribution is positively. The next is the description of data. So for our population is all people in Malaysians, and for our sample is 450,000 of unemployed in Malaysians, and type of our data is secondary data, and for resources of our data by Department Statistik of Malaysia and by Negara Malaysia Berhad. For our description of variable, we have 3 qualitative and also 1 quantitative. For our qualitative is gender, education level, and also the study field, while our quantitative is age.
For method of data analysis, the first objective is to describe the demographic profile of unemployed people in Malaysia. This demographic profile includes the gender, education level, and study field. And the data of this variable is put in the form of bar chart and pie charts. Next, to analyze the central tendency of unemployment by age of unemployed people in Malaysia. So the variables for this objective will be the age, and then the data will be put in the form of frequency distribution, histogram, or GIF, mean, mode, and median. And the last one is to analyze the measure of the dispersion of unemployment by age of unemployed people in Malaysia. And then the variables will still be the age, and then the data will be put in the form of skewed distribution, variance, and the standard deviation.
So next, we move on to the analysis and discussion. For this part, we analyze 3 qualitative variables and 1 quantitative variables. So for the first variable is gender. From the bar chart here, we can see that male has the higher rate of unemployment compared to female. So from the data we get, we can state that 60% of the unemployment rate are from male, while the other 40% are from female. So for the next variables is education level. From the pie chart here, we can see that there is 4 education level, which is bachelor's, diploma, master, and PhD. So the highest rate of unemployment is from bachelor's undergraduate, followed by diploma, and then master's. And we can see that the minority of the unemployed who is the PhD undergraduate. So next is field of study. From the pie chart here, we can see that there are 5 types of field of study: firstly science, literature and social science, technical, information technology and communication, and lastly education. So from this pie chart, we can see that by the field of study, the graduates from science and literature and social science tend to have the higher rates of unemployment, which contribute 24% each, and followed by information technology and communication and technical, which contribute 21% each, and the least percentage of unemployment rate is education, which is 10%.
Next, we moved on to the age and number of unemployment in thousand. So from the data, we calculated the mean, median, and mode. So we had for the mean 25.2, median 23.23, and the mode 22.01. So from the values that we get, we can conclude that the mean age of unemployed in Malaysia is 25.2 years old. This indicates that on average the age of unemployed recorded in Malaysia during the particular time is 25.2 years old. Next is the median. So the median is 23.23 years old. It shows that 50% of unemployed is below than 23.23 years old, and another 50% of unemployed is above than 23.23 years old. Lastly, the mode of the age of unemployed in Malaysia is 22.01 years old. So it can say that the most of unemployed in Malaysia is around 22.01 years old. From the same data, we convert it into the cumulative frequency to make an archive. So analysis on the archive, we prepare 3 questions, which is estimate the number of unemployed with the age below 45 years old. So from the archive, there are 432,000 unemployed with the age below 45 years old. And secondly is estimate the percentage of unemployed that exceeds 40 years old, and then we get 4%. And the last one is 30 years old is defined as youth in the Malaysian youth policy. Approximate the percentage of unemployed that is categorized as youth. Also from the archive we get 81.11%. So this is a histogram of number of unemployment by age, while this one is frequency polygon by number of unemployment by age. And the last one, we create a skewed distribution of unemployment by age from the same data. Next, we calculated the variance, which is 55.3807, and the standard deviation 7.4418. So the imputation is the variance of age of unemployed in Malaysia is 55.38 years old, while the standard deviation is 7.44 years old. And then the coefficient of variation we get 29.53%, and the Pearson's coefficient of skewness is 0.7942. So the imputation is the coefficient of variation for the unemployed is 29.53%. Therefore, the data of the age of unemployed is less consistent as the CV is a large number, and the distribution is positively skewed as the value of a Pearson's coefficient of skewness is positive.
For conclusion, males have recorded 60% of the total number of unemployment in Malaysia, while the rest is recorded for females. Majority of the unemployed are those with bachelors, while those with PhDs being the minority as they recorded the least amount of unemployment. Those who have studied education is the least unemployed, with only 10% of the total unemployment rate. Based on the calculations, the mean age of the unemployed is 25.2 years old. The mode age of unemployed in Malaysia in 2015 is 22.01 years old, and then the median of the unemployed age is 23.23 years old, and the last one is this distribution is positively skewed.
And for the last is our recommendation for our further studies. So for the first is we are going to analyze the measure of how much the unemployment by their races in Malaysia. So as we know that in Malaysia we have three races, which is Bumiputera, Chinese and Indian. So in these races we are investigate which race have a lot of unemployment that can consider probability in Malaysia. For the second is to analyze the measure how much the fresh graduate unemployment by their education level in Malaysia. So as we know that this issue has been discussed by our Malaysia, right? So in this research, we'll investigate the reason why the college or university graduate are facing unemployment in the competitive market in Malaysia.
With that, we conclude our presentation. Thank you and have a good day.